Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in, those future watchers. Thank you for tuning in. Also, please share this video with someone that needs it. This video isn't a recap; it's just a Q&A that I would like to have with Red Crane about the Gullah Geechee. Yesterday, we spoke on the proclamation that was given to them. And in that proclamation, it said some things. And this is for the record, right? Off the record, um, there will be a Q&A. On the record, there's some information that needs to be shared because when dealing with this subject, those that may be inside only deal with Africa, right? Those that are on the outside try to force and make everyone indigenous, not understanding that the Gullah Geechee culture is a combination, right? Is a mash between many great cultures. So I would like to start off, Red Crane, um, with this question that I do have. This is the first that I sent. Um, Matter of fact, let me ask the second question first. The Gullah Geechee, where do the Gullah Geechee people live? If
You had
hold
cut
up,
out for a second.
nah, you had dropped. It is gonna be hard for me to read and click back. So
I got the
I'm gonna
questions in
try my
front of me,
best to
so
keep you in here.
okay.
So the second question I'm gonna ask is, where do the Gullah Geechee live?
Prominently right now, from record or as all the communities like to say, South Carolina, Oyo Tunje Village, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, all those who claim it, these places they from. Hello?
All right, so let me see the second question. Yeah, can you hear me? We
He's
back?
off. I don't know what happened.
Nah, for some reason he be dropping. It's like I said, it's gonna
Yeah.
be tough for me to click in and click out to
Hmm.
ask the questions to add back.
I
Oh,
uh
there
I
we
had
go.
a questions.
Um
I had a questions in front of me.
oh, you got them in front of you. Okay, perfect.
Hey, you
So
peep the comment? My
yeah,
bad.
that's trash. That's the pale skin who don't know his information. He'll be all right.
Right, right.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He need to go argue with other people.
Right. So, like,
So
question number one, you said,
But
who are
why
the
is
now
he
Gullah?
here?
so
How he?
basically, don't worry about that. So
Right, right.
the second question is gonna be the first question is what I wanted to ask second. Who
Okay,
are the Gullah Geechee people?
okay. We gonna set the record straight in the famous words of y'all know who. Uh, Way before European colonization, it was tribes of people in the southeast. When Africans began to come trading over here, they traded spices, goods, everything like that. The mixture, the admixture that happened with those certain tribes and the Africans and stuff, you get the Gully Geechee people. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. People of the Southeast in America that bred with Africans. Period. You heard me, cuz?
Yeah, we
Oh,
got you. Anytime
oh,
somebody call or something, it's gonna drop. You good? You back?
yeah, yeah. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I was
All right.
going
So
down.
what did you say about the language again? Repeat that for me.
Oh, I didn't say anything about the language. You asked a question. Who are the Gullah Geechee people? And I was explaining it was already natives here in the southeast and a lot of other places, particularly in the southeast when the Africans came over here through trading and certain things like that. Men and women started mating with each other. Africans with indigenous, the men in Africa with indigenous women over here. The men
Right.
from over
Right.
here with the women from Africa and stuff like that. Through them languages intermingling and those cultural practices, even spiritual practices and things like that. Them people merge and you
So
get
in
the
what
Gullah
ways did those practices like influence American culture?
I wouldn't say it influenced the American culture so somewhat as far as like paler skinned people. But when it come down to natives, if they hear any folklore in the family saying, boy, you Geechee, girl, you Geechee.
You back?
Oh, okay. What you didn't hear? You heard me?
Uh, how did or how do the Gullah Geechee preserve their traditions?
Allow over there, and from my knowledge, he's the one that keep all the sacred traditions and stuff like that. As far as in the African traditions and stuff like that. Now with Queen Quet, I don't know what traditions she keep. It's iffy.
Okay, okay. So let's see. Regarding their festivals, right? Um,
Mm.
we talked about this yesterday on the phone. Um, what are what is your view on the Gullah Geechee week being recognized, and what is your view on them being considered descendants of captive Africans strictly on that paper?
Okay, for one, excuse me if I cuss as I start talking about this right now. For one, that whole weak recognition and stuff like that. On the other hand, I feel like it's good for the people that's been putting blood, sweat, and tears on that particular land. But I don't fuck with it. All of the people there that are true descendants are not all descendants of captive slaves. Majority of them people who are true descendants of these people that we talking about, people was already here. Literally. They was already here. Majority of the people was already here. So how can you be descendants of slaves, African captive slaves and stuff like that? When I know for a fact majority of these people ancestors was already here.
Practices like food. It's like what are some food or like traditional foods that Gullah Geechee eat that may have like that may be influenced by indigenous America.
I forget the that you say foods that the Gullah Geechee eat that may be influenced by the indigenous Americans. Seafood, fish, shrimp, clams. The seafood was definitely a big influence on anybody that came over here. Fish salad. fish. Another influence on them was pottery, basket weaving.
Hmm.
The way the way the indigenous women and men wore their clothing. Did
Oh,
indigenous people get certain practices and things like?
hold on. Yeah, I'm back. So what are some practices that the indigenous people picked up from the
Okay, so they have this certain type of festival called Egungun. It's like a masquerade. Yeah, it's like a masquerade. So they dress up in all the different colors of the Egungun or the ancestors and stuff like that, and they parade around in these costumes and play drums and cowbells and things like that. Um, that's something similar to the indigenous people when you see them dancing around the fire and stuff.
so similar to the stunt dancers?
Ancestral veneration.
So I do want to ask because there is some confusion out there about the topic. Are there any indigenous peoples? When I say peoples, I'm not speaking on just individuals. But are there any indigenous peoples that may have practiced any African form of spirituality?
Your phone was breaking up.
Pardon me. I was asking, are there any indigenous people that were practicing different forms of what we would consider forms of African spirituality?
Nah,
So no,
the only way.
no indigenous people were practicing any African spiritual systems.
No, those two different land masses. When the admixture started happening, cultures started blending.
So what would you have to say to the Wale that were worshiping Oshun when they crossed over from Florida to Cuba?
They were worshiping Ocean. Oh, you just hit me with that one right there, cause that's definitely something I ain't know about. What I would have to say about it, about them doing that.
Yeah, that's a conversation that we could have.
Okay. I don't see nothing wrong with it because once you understand the orishas and things like that, you understand that those are universal energies and stuff like that. Everybody born with ancestral spirits that walk with them, different spirit guides, different energies that govern their head and their feet.
Okay, okay. Because what I do know is there were some women that picked up Ifa uh
Mm,
through dealing with different men from continental Africa, right? So
mm,
for instance, like Francisco Menendez's wife, or different people who were dealing with them,
mm-hmm,
though they were speaking Spanish, they understood a system that was brought in from a different continent. So
okay.
yeah, so I bet that's basically
So
something that
around that time, if you're dealing with like the Spaniards and stuff like that, I get what you're saying. Uh,
yeah, because it was the span, it's the basically the Africans, so called the Mandi people that they brought in from
mhm,
Senegal.
mhm,
They actually had the opportunity to learn Spanish.
mm,
So
okay.
when they got over here, they weren't just speaking Spanish, they were speaking English, they were speaking their language, but they also learned Spanish. And they was
Okay.
introduced in different customs to
Okay.
different groups of people here. Like you will notice a lot of men might have like a granddaddy name like Koofy or some shit,
Right.
but understanding that those women that birthed those babies were indigenous women, but you get me, like they
Hmm.
were speaking Arabic and Spanish, all all of these different languages, right? We're here at that time. So,
Hmm.
And also something to add on to, like when you was talking about the indigenous people adopting things from Africans or
Mm-hmm.
different groups of Africans. The ostrich feathers, right? That the
Mm.
Seminoles wear, or that you see
Mm.
a lot of Creeks wear, was adopted through trade, and it was through trade, direct trade and commerce
Right. Right.
with those people that was considered Africans. It wasn't from Europeans. You
No
know, like
influence at
yeah,
all.
it had no outside influence. So um you also notice, like for instance, when you watch Shaka, right? When you watch Zulu, you
Mm-hmm.
will like them boys had ostrich feathers.
Right. Right. Damn, cuz. Right. Right. Right, cuz.
I
Damn, that's crazy.
it's
Yeah,
a
I gotta
tie
watch it
in.
again now, man.
Yeah, it's a tie in with Tarman. There's a lot of
Mm.
indigenous people that speak on Tarman. Um,
Mm.
but again, you feel me? Like the leopard print or the jaguar print, or how they wore the cheetah print over there. Um, it's a lot of tie-ins, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the culture. But what do you think about the status, or how like the status of the Gullah Geechee? Like, how does that proclamation, like, what does that proclamation do for them, being that that's how they are labeled?
It's gonna open up the land to the colonizers to have a say so. I
Explain.
feel like I feel like they should have never signed that did that proclamation. You gotta stand on your square. How you gonna say we what we is? We know what we is. And that's how they should have kept kicking it.
Simple.
That's
Mm.
how they should have kept kicking it. And then like money is a motherfucker. So ain't no telling. Man, money a motherfucker. Money a motherfucker. I leave it like this. If I knew I was entitled to all this from the jump, knowing what my ancestors is, that they was on all these little islands and stuff like that, I would have never left. To leave to come back, nah, nah, not me.
And it's like, it being honest, right? See, if someone that's over there right now learned Spanish, they'll know that the double L is pronounced yeah,
Yeah.
right? If
Mm-hmm.
if you say Gullah in Spanish, you giving the people a form of your indigenous name.
Mm-hmm.
And the craziest part about it is to say, okay, this is our language, this is the language we speak, knowing that it was made more African than it was,
Mm-hmm.
and then allowing these people to consider you to be captive Africans. I feel like that's a setup. Panel, what y'all think? Anyone got any opinions on that proclamation?
Yeah. Captive Africans is ain't no different from calling yourself a foundational Black American. Right? They ain't got
Facts.
no status.
Yeah,
It's
my
just
bad. These
a
Facts.
dogs
paper.
barking, that thunder going out, boy.
Ain't
Now
no
you
different
good.
from ain't no the weight don't ain't as heavy as the paper is written on.
Hmm. The
Bro,
thing
hey,
is,
talk to me.
it's people that know and they don't open their mouth. They just let shit go on.
Mm.
Because they
That's
want
the
to be
main
African.
thing. Like, bruh,
first.
I'm trying my best, but bruh, like, I want to be in
That's
front.
that slave. Hey, that's that slave shit.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Like, nah, open your mouth. Open your mouth. Speak the truth. That's it. Whether who get affected by it, whether who like it or who don't like it, you gonna feel good. You gonna gain a little bit more power by walking in truth. That's how simple it is. But people
And if
be
anything,
scared.
the people that's gonna get most status out of that is the immigrants coming over from Africa to America. They get more status
Right,
than
right,
Hmm.
right,
so-called African Americans today. Anyway,
right, right. Mm-hmm.
This is interesting. This is why I tell people to document their own family story, right?
Mm-hmm.
To put that shit on paper yourself and to
Right.
have your other family members go over it, have it notarized um by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
With your stamp, because there is no way that we will accept that from the world. So to
Mm-hmm.
accept that from a state that's literally trying to get your land, and trying to get your land, and you got to call other people who on other people land to help you get your land, there's an issue. There's an the underlying issue is you need to tell the facts of the matter. You need to speak the truth, like bro said.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
instead
all
you
you
will
gotta
allow
do.
these people to call you captive Africans. Go ahead, cuz.
Nah, they still captive. They don't get the spell and the spelling and the wording and stuff like that.
Someone say I was wrong for considering a captive a slave.
Mm-hmm. Same thing, different terminology.
Come on, man.
captive, prisoner of war, enslaved, and that's
Right,
all the
It's all the same
right. Sales jargon.
because
just how
is
same,
that
just how just how in the Lenape story it say they came to destroy, but that could have been mean conquer. It's all the same.
all the same?
Conquer,
Oh,
destroy,
then no, it wasn't an
inhabit,
invasion. It was an expansion.
invade,
Wait, what? Okay,
Huh.
expand.
so
Yeah.
the people that's getting invaded will see it as an invasion. The people
Mm-hmm.
that's expanding their territory will see expand.
All right.
Right,
The word and trickled so far down today. We went from redlining to gentrification. So
right.
where we at
Facts.
now?
And that's what's going on with them. It's like they have the coast, right? And we have family members out there who own the coast, who own land in Carolina. All of these are different islands, bro. These Europeans want to take these islands and build golf courses and $500 million houses and shit on the
Mm-hmm.
coast. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
when you have a people that have it, and their leader has an indigenous bloodline through a woman, for that to allow you to be considered captive slaves is crazy as shit to me. Because what that's going to do is say these slaves have no status, right? And since they have no status because they are captives, then we can take it by right. That puts another blockage in front of those people that say, hey, y'all out there and y'all our people. We got family out there. That's our people. However, this is what it is. You ignore that, right? And you do what you want to do and you get tricked out of your spot. So
Trickery, boy. Trickology, boy.
it's all a game. Now someone say it was a lady yesterday. She was like, well, they've been there so long, it's their land and all this. I'm like, well, who was there before them? This was
Right.
a trick question.
Hmm.
The trick
She wasn't
question.
gonna be able to answer it.
You know what she said? She said the Native Americans, and I'm sitting there like, wow.
Hell no.
Only if you knew. Only if you knew. So no, it was the queen that accepted it in their council. And again, this is public. So I'm gonna speak on what's public. That to me was foolish. You had your own week. You recognized your own week. Other indigenous people recognized your week, but you chose to accept the proclamation from the states
Hmm.
that considered you in the first sentence captive descendants of captive Africans.
Hmm.
Nothing
Hmm.
else. So now, oh well, we got and did fuck what you said.
Y'all straight African. Ain't no indigenous.
Ain't no it. Come on, what's on paper? What's on your proclamation?
That's what they've been waiting on for years.
Oh, look, we recognized by the state. Look, we recognized by we got our own week.
Hmm.
Like
It took
African
us so.
Americans, black people
it,
got a month. At least we got a week.
hmm. Hmm.
Every day ain't your day.
Right. Should you not honor your mother and fathers and their mother and fathers and their mother and fathers every day? If they still truly alive, because you out here breathing and you got kids and your kids got kids, and in the future, them kids gonna have kids. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I
We
wouldn't have
know
did it.
something. We know something that a lot of tribes know and don't know about the whole, right? And it's because they've been separated for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So when these pieces are put together and everybody say, wait, hold on, the whole East was, wait, what? And the chieftain
Mm-hmm.
was what? Damn, we had amnesia, or damn, we learned only knew from from colonialism from that point forward, because our ancestors are on this side of European, so we don't know nothing outside of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when all these people start working and trying to get their shit back in the East?
Huh.
And then they say, oh, well, we'll give y'all the coast back. We got to get them the coast back.
Right.
Where will the Gullah Geechee place be?
Hmm.
Facts. They literally just that we've just watched. Matter of fact, we've just watched. Not we've just watched suicide. Excuse me. Like
Suicide, that was
you.
kamikaze
And matter of
bombing.
fact, you can't even say that on the net. They've just watched personal unalivement. We've just watched personal unalivement. That's what we watched. They've unalived themselves on paper. Like I say, paper genocide. How she said, no, it's paper, literally paper on the self unalivement.
And I think I know who brainwashed.
And that meant, listen, bro. There's no way you were there with all of those sovereign nations and chose to do that. That's
Right.
just my thinking.
Right.
That's just my thinking.
Who got in
You
your
feel
ear?
me? And I could be wrong, cause you know me. I could fucking be wrong. Cause I always give people the benefit of the doubt. So if someone was brainwashed into making that move, that was crazy, especially being in the position you were in the direct middle. Pictures are everything.
Mm-hmm.
Photo ops are everything. So
Mm-hmm.
when you have a banner like that in the front of so many indigenous nations,
Hmm.
they trying to tell you something that you don't want to hold on to.
Right. Right. It's okay. We gonna meet her one day. Tinky, tinky, tinky. I know. I know. I know.
I'll wait the third, bro. Wait until they find out that Gullah and you follow the same words. Gonna fuck your
Right.
head up.
Right. It ain't. How could that be? Man,
Oh,
it is.
Gullah comes from Gola, the Angola. Shit, man, chill out, man.
Guacamole. Guatemala.
What? You remember food called
Yeah.
guacamole? Hey, guacamole. Hell nah.
Oh man.
Hell nah.
Nah, cause it do come from Guatemala. See, cause like guac,
Guac, you see the guac?
nigga.
Iguana, iguana.
Hell no.
Niggas say, damn, so y'all call yourself iguana. So what they got to do with the iguana? Oh, you niggas tripping, man.
Right.
You tripping.
Mm-mm-mm.
But yeah, so I do want to ask panel, do y'all have any questions about the Gullah Geechee that y'all would like to ask Red Crane before we do go into the free bill, off the record? All
Come
right,
on now, ask me something now.
no questions.
Was
Don't.
y'all live on YouTube or no?
Yeah, we definitely live.
Oh, okay, I'll just wait.
Okay, perfect. So, with that being said, everybody that tuned in, thank you for tuning in. Um,
What who were the
Go ahead,
names that
cuz.
signed the petition?
Talk to me.
I, I see that as a question. As it says, is it younger people who signed the petition?
Oh yeah, I had answered that. Nah, it was their queen and their council.
Yeah, okay.
And again, we have video. We have the video, bro, of her stating that her grandmother is indigenous and is from those islands. So why would you allow those people to consider you to be a
Hmm.
captive African when the your umbilical cord comes from a woman that comes from a woman that comes from a woman that comes like come on, what are you doing?
Accepting ad,
Your
accepting
mitochondrial
the
DNA,
admix.
like
Your
yeah, like
DNA didn't start
facts.
with the mixture. Yeah.
What they like to talk
Facts,
about, cuz genotype, phenotype, blood, and all
bro.
that. You
And
don't fit the. You don't
it,
fit the description of an African.
she looks just like a statue from over there,
Right.
but she doesn't look like the thing, bro. When the here it go, I'll say it. When you've been secluded for so long, you eventually hunt your cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Simple,
Mm-hmm. Right.
simple.
So
So
she basically left them open and vulnerable to be raped and pillaged even more.
of course, we wouldn't do that. We explain what it is, right? And then we explain the different points of contact with the different groups of people from continental Africa, the different groups of people from South America, or because, and again, we so from that part of America, we see all of it as one, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Scandinavians, right? The Norse. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about dealing with those different groups of present day Europeans. We
Mm-hmm.
speak on the groups like the so-called Algic speakers, which comes from a word that's Wale, right? but they
Mhm.
used it to identify a group of Asians. So we speak on the different groups of Asians and the different migrations that they brought into the land. So we understand it from the indigenous point of view. Being that they don't understand it from the indigenous point of view, all they have to fall back on is being descendants of captive Africans. So they can say they grandma Indian, but if they say that, they're scared of the Europeans saying, prove it my way. Prove it
Facts.
this way. Why
Facts.
aren't you on the Dawes roads? Why aren't
Facts.
you on the Eastern Cherokee roads? Why aren't you on the Wallace road? Why aren't you on the Kearns Cliff? All of this extra shit is what
Mm-hmm.
they are afraid of. So being that they can't prove that they're indigenous by European standards of paperwork, they just say, well, I'm African. Why? Because Europeans look at all niggas and consider them to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Hallelujah.
This is what's going on. We won't accept no shit like that.
Right, right, right. And
Having
indigenous,
admixture, go ahead, cuz pardon me.
yeah, that's why I said hallelujah, cause don't nothing make me madder than an indigenous Christian. And I ain't no religion basher, but damn.
Yo, listen. Wale that know the story different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using the, general platform. I wish you know what I mean? But that's for that address, right?
Right, right.
Um, the thing that a lot of people are going to have to again start understanding is it's okay for them to be themselves. There, a lot of people are afraid to be themselves, so they just roll with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
But now, hey, you can't own this land. Why? Because since treaties are the law of the land, this treaty said an African slave can't own land.
Mm-hmm.
Treaties
Well,
from
hey, I
1800
was gonna leave that for off the record.
up. Mm.
Hell
That
no.
just broke they back, cuz might well end
Right,
it. Might as
right.
well. Anybody watching, love y'all. Please share this. Thank you for tuning in. Like the video before you leave. Do come back again to like it because they do take the likes and they do take the views. Thank you. Much love.